Hey, what's going on? Y'all back with another one, back with another one. Oh shit. Okay. Let me see the gray. Hold on. Hey, what's going on? Y'all back with another one, back with another one. All right. All right. Let's see the gray. I see the gray. Yeah, that gray circle. Yeah, my audio interface is acting up. I need a new one bad. I'm gonna have to need a new one. Okay, because sometimes when you play something in the background, I'm just gonna leave it be. I'm gonna leave it be for now. We're gonna talk about this shit. Okay. Let's see something real quick. Get in the studio, get my shit set up right. Okay, everything's right. Everything's right. Okay. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. Yeah, the sports world is crazy right now. I just heard some interesting news about Marcellus Wilde about the ESPN blackout with New York and LA and things like that nature. I'm just like, man, look here. That's some serious shit. And then we got to talk about Dion. I know everybody talking about he's a sellout by Jason Dung Lot or Shit Lock. We can say we don't care about that clown. But basically, what I'm saying right now, I saw a lot of videos. Shouts out to the LDBC, the Lions Den basketball community, and shouts out to those people that support those brothers, Too Raw and all them guys. They doing great work. And then the basketball facts. He's killing them with the LeBron takes. I gotta say something about battle rap. We'll talk about that later. The battle rap culture has changed a lot. The Midwest done took over battle rap. They say. I agree with the RBE and then URL. That's gonna be a sidebar topic. We're gonna talk later in the stream. But let's talk about Rich Paul, LeBron's agent. I am so tired of the greatest of all time discussion. I think me and my father had this in discussion in the car, right? And he said there are different eras. And I agree with him, what he was saying about the eras. But I think my dad will understand once they start mentioning Michael Jordan, when he dominated the 90s, a lot of people gravitates towards LeBron's camp started, and then the media serves LeBron started as well. So it's their fault. Now, when he called himself the greatest of all time in 2016, which he's not Jordan. He's a poor man's Jordan. Try to be like a Jordan. The media tries to push LeBron in your face. And it backfired. He got swept this year by Jokic and them. See, they got to defend their title next year. They will go in the playoffs and they will go to the finals. That's my prediction. But it's the thing, it could be an upset. We don't know what the West, but to me, I'm picking them out of the West just by default because of good coaching of Mike Malone, and they're here. Lakes ain't going nowhere. I don't care about AD and all that. That shit is over with. I know they're trying to get Giannis. That's impossible. Shouts to the ticket for saying that. Ticket TV confirmed he's a Lakers fan, but he said it. But it doesn't matter. They're not trading AD. You got to have a lot because he has to go somewhere and he wants a lot of money. They're not going to lose that asset. They're not going to waste that on Giannis. They're going to wait to see what Giannis is going to do, and they'll try to trade AD for draft picks. But I highly doubt. See, Lakers don't. They're not in the position in that. So you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of teams who want AD, but most people don't want him. He's injury prone. They call him street clothes. So it is what it is. Oh, what's going on? Salute. I think the greatest all time debate is so fucking overrated. And shouts out to Too Raw for TV for saying this, and my father for saying this too. It's so overrated because it's no contest. Yes, Jordan had all the stats. He has the accolades. I'm gonna look him up right now, but we're gonna talk about the Miami Heat's history just in a moment, because I have to correct Dreamers Pro. Sir, they were in the 2007 playoffs. That's just a minor correction. No hate, brother, but keep doing your thing, Dreamers Pro. Charles Sabansi, he does a great job. Yes, they were in the 2007 playoffs. Got swept, by the way. They got swept by the Chicago Bulls, and the Chicago Bulls got destroyed by the Detroit Pistons. Now, Detroit Pistons in Cleveland, Detroit was trying to reclaim their championship. It would have been a rematch with them and the Spurs. I predict the Spurs was going to go to the West because the West was kind of loaded, and Dallas and San Antonio was on fire that year. I mean, everybody else was too, but you know, the Lakers, they were through. They didn't have a chance in hell winning a championship. I mean, Kobe was around, but they got eliminated. Kobe struggled. When Shaq won that title a year before, yeah, he was something. But Kobe, nobody didn't think Kobe was going to win. The pieces they got from, I believe, was it Pau Gasol when he went, right? 09, and then he played with him a couple years, got him 2 championships. That cemented Kobe's legacy right there. They could have won one with Dwight Howard, but it's a combination of Dwight's fault and Kobe's fault. But Dwight played hurt and management. So I blame the Lakers organization not handling the White situation what it was. So the Lakers ain't, you know, they got what they got. You already know, y'all know the rest. So 2013, what a hell of a year. But no one thought Miami and San Antonio was going to be a finals. No. Now the OKC and, you know, LeBron, yeah, the Heat was unstoppable when you have LeBron and Wade, yeah. But nobody thought it was going to be like the Spurs and the Heat. 2 teams that I like historically. I always liked the Heat back in the 90s when they played the playoffs against the Knicks. Even though I'm a Bulls guy. But I like the Spurs. That's one of my favorite Western teams of all time in the Western Conference. And they did them. They did lose to them in Game 7. Ray Allen did save the shot. Everybody talks about the shot. But it's the trick side. They was going to be in a rematch. There were 2 good teams the next year. And you already know the Spurs spanked them. But shouts to the Basketball Facts breaking it down. Like, brings back memory lane when I saw these playoffs, man. And LeBron spewing, his agent spewing, he's the GOAT, which he's not. Keep saying, most people say they have Michael Jordan as a GOAT. To me, my greatest of all time player of all time, to me, is Wilt Chamberlain. If you don't mention him, all the other guys, yes, you got to mention Kobe. I would say Kobe's probably the GOAT of this era in the 21st century. I would say in the 21st century era of the 2000s, I give it to Kobe Bryant, period. Yes, he won 5 championships. He's not talked about as much as Dreamers Pro talks about him. There's a couple of channels talk about him, but Kobe should be respected in this era. Michael Jordan barely played this era. He played the 80s and 90s. I give him that. But the 90s, he dominated that. That was all Mike. Yes, you had Hakeem. Yes, you had David Robinson. You had other players with great players, Charles Barkley. All those guys were great. But Michael dominated the Eastern Conference, period. Hands down, undisputed. Undisputed greatest of all time in the 90s. I'll give Mike that. The 80s, I'll say all through the 80s, I have to give it to Magic and Bird. Now, Michael was upstart in the 80s, right? Got his stats in there and build him up to the 90s. But the 80s, I have to give it to Magic and Bird. Yes, you have Julius Erving and a couple other players. And Isaiah Thomas, that's a parity. The most parity league. You could say you got a bunch, but Magic, to me, has a stronger case than Bird because he can be considered the greatest all-time point guard in the 80s. Magic beats them all out. Yes, you got Irving. Yes, you got Thomas and Bird, but they cannot stand against those great Lakers in the 80s. So my respects to Magic. Much love to Magic. Salute to Magic, though. I ain't no Magic Johnson hater. I like this game now. The Lakers I like was the 80s. That was it. But I didn't care for the Lakers like that. I'm not a big Lakers supporter, but I understand Magic's game. He's a hell of a player. There you go. The 70s, you got to give it to the New York Knicks, the New York Knickerbockers, the New York Knicks, by the way. Should we say Willis Reed? Yes, Wilt Chamberlain dominated in 72, won a championship. Yes, you had Lou Alcindor won the championship, a.k.a. Kareem. And Kareem and Magic, you know, they got the 80s and saved his career. Now, the 70s, you had the Celtics won 2 championships. Yes, you have Rick Barry and all that. But to be honest with you, that's a parity league itself. The only greatest of all time player was probably Wilt Chamberlain in that era in the 70s. Yeah, you have Willis Reed and all them, but Chamberlain got 2 championships, yes, but he got the most stats in the 60s and 70s. He dominated that, so I give it to Chamberlain. 60s and 70s, and along with his buddy Bill Russell. Now, Bill Russell played in the 50s and 60s. I give him the 50s, and the early 60s, the defensive play. If you're not talking about those type of plays, that should be in y'all's top 10 greatest of all time players of each era. Now, the 40s, you got to give it to Mikan. I think Mikan and Frank Saul. They used to play with the Royals. What's his name? Joe Falks from the Warriors. It's a lot of, it's a long so, but Mikan ruled the 40s and the 50s. I give him that. Along with after his retirement, then you got Elgin Baylor, of course. In the 50s and 60s, but he didn't win no championship. But if you want to talk about GOAT status, if you're all including accolades and world championships, yeah, everybody should be in that conversation. That's what my father was trying to bring, but he don't understand. A lot of people just fixated on Michael Jordan because he's more relevant because of the shoes, the impact. He actually changed the modern game what it is today. What you see today, you got to blame Michael for that in the 90s teams that have all these multiple teams today. So that GOAT conversation, Rich Paul should have just left alone, man. They cooking his ass online, and he looking like a derelict out here, man. An ultimate derelict out here. Oh, what's going on, Queen? And salute. He looks like an ultimate derelict out here. It's just like, it's so sad that Rich Paul needs to leave that alone. That's just me. I mean, that conversation is dead. I know people are not going to take what I say here and fixate on it. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at it like, look, that's how you got to have your greatest of all times. You talk to your players and your things like here. It's cool. Man, I don't know what is going on with Twitter. I'm just gonna keep it buck. Yeah, they crazy on Instagram. So we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna see what old girl's talking about. We ain't talking about that. Okay. I'm gonna get these messages out here, folks. But yeah. That's crazy, man. Yeah, but that's the whole point. But Rich Paul's making his rounds being a derelict, man. He just talking shit and he just want to be seen. But it's just like, why, bro? Everybody's not into that conversation. I mean, and Gilbert Arenas, he's a fucking clown. He's a simp for Melly Monaco. I'm gonna tell you right now, that dude's a simp. I do not like dude. I don't give two shits about him. He's just a damn derelict, man. I just don't like Gilbert Arenas, period. Like, he's not a great player. He's a sorry ass role player trying to relive his glory days. But dude, you need to go hang it up. You trash. But anyways, but it just goes to show you that Rich Paul is desperate and LeBron. See, LeBron can retire any moment. 21st season, and they're going to talk about this, and they're going to try to push the Lakers to try to win somewhat of a championship, which they're not doing. The Lakers are not a good fit. They're not a good pick. I just don't buy into them. No. There's a lot of good Western teams will show him up, and LeBron's not going to play half the year. A lot of people try to say he's going to get the surgery. We'll see. He's stalling right now. But, man, it just goes to show you that I don't buy the bullshit. We'll see. Shit gets old after a while. So let me show y'all something. Go and read something to you about the Miami Heat. I know the history is the reason I'm bringing this up. Add some context, what they have done, and all this other stuff, and the context of it all. So we're gonna look at it right here. Okay, the Miami Heat. We're just gonna look it up, and their history's been around since '88. Even though they've been around '87, the early years of Miami, '87 and the '88 season. It was created in 1988. That's when they was founded. So great organization, still going strong, even though they got 3 championships. One from your boy, they call self-proclaimed GOAT. They call himself. They got 3 championships, but 7 conference titles. 7 conference titles. Let's read 06, 2011, 2012, 2013. Those came by LeBron. 2014 by LeBron. Recently, 2020 and 2023. Now, D Wade was a part of that 2006 or 2006, how people want to pronounce it, was the year before, and the conversation talking about that 07 swept, right? See, that year, Shaq was on cloud 9, but they got swept in the first round. They didn't take it serious like they did the previous year. They got swept by the Bulls, and they had a decent season. They were the 4th seed of the NBA playoffs, or the 4th or 5th seed or something like that. I believe they were the 4th seed in the 2007 playoffs. And they got swept by the Bulls, 5th seeded Bulls. That right there lets you know Shaq was on the backside of his career. So Kobe saw that and he took advantage for the next couple of years. I told you, Kobe performed and came back. But we're looking at the Jimmy Butler years. He's got 2 years of 2 conference championships. That's all he delivers. We saw the great effort, but they can't win a championship. If they ever win one, now's the time to get Embiid. That's just me personally. Now, they got 16 division titles. 16 division titles, right? And let's look at the years. 1997, they had the division title in the Atlantic, I believe. Because at the time, 1997, there was no such thing as a Southeast Division. It was a Atlantic Division they was in, along with the Hawks, because it was all one. It was 2019s at the time when I was coming up as a kid. I was 9 years old at the time. They got one in 97. They got one in 98 at the Atlantic, 99, 2000, same division. They changed in 2005, so they won one in the Southeast. That's 05. They had 106 with Shaq, and they also won the Southeast in 07. Why? Because they were the defending champs, but got swept in the first round. I told you, they've been in the playoffs in 2007. Yeah, they won the division. They went to the playoffs and lost. So, yeah, 07 was that year. And then LeBron sent the rest of the way, and then, they have 16 division titles. 16 now. Retired numbers, you already know, is number 1. I forget who was number 1. I know Tim Hardaway is number 10. And number 3, I forget who's number 3 at the time. I believe that was, I don't know, is that was Steve Smith? I believe that was Steve Smith. 23 was honorary. That's Michael Jordan. Pat Riley retired his number 23 out of respect for MJ. I think he retired that number. He didn't play for him, but that was an honorary retirement number. You know how they do. They did that one with Cleveland, I believe. Or some other player, but, we ain't going to get into that. Number 32 was Shaquille O'Neal. They retired his number. And Alonzo Mourning, 33. So that's about, about 6 numbers retired from the Miami Heat. They have a hell of a history, right? So in the 80s, they was granted one of the 4 new expansions. And that was it. So we look at the history. Yes, you see Tim Hardaway right here. Yes, you see Alonzo Mourning. They were the patrons of the Dwayne Wayne era. His era, Dwayne Wade started 2003 and 2016. That's his era. Dwayne Wade's era of the Heat is when they were decent. That's prior, and this is when LeBron played with them. So 2016 in that era, yeah. 2003, 1995, 2003, title hopefuls. They were title hopefuls in that era. This is a short span what they were. The Jordan period, they played against Michael Jordan in the playoffs. See, 87 from 95, the early years of Miami, they wasn't a playoff team. They were decent. They did start in the playoffs somewhere around 95. Yeah. But the early years, they struggled. But Miami is one of my favorite, another Eastern Conference teams, my 3rd favorite Eastern Conference teams of all time. I like them. And Miami is not bad. They have a hell of a history. And then the title hopeful years, I remember those years. Oh, yeah, it was tough. Miami was tough. Then 2003 changed that when they added, certain pieces. Yes, they have the shooting guard, Dwayne Wade. I believe in 2003 with the 5th overall pick. He was the 5th overall pick, but he got 3 championships. I thought he was 3rd. Oh, he's 5th overall. Yeah, I keep forgetting. He's 5th overall. And then Carmelo was drafted in 2003 as well. I believe he was the 3rd overall pick. Yeah, he's the 3rd overall pick. 2nd overall pick was Darko Milicic. He was garbage. Detroit, that was a bad pick. They should have picked Carmelo. Championship season, 05 and 06. They had a championship season. They had a, post-championship season last year, and then you got 2010 and, the big three era. Yeah, you got Shaq and Wade. That's that period. I remember this period. That was a hell of a period for Miami. And then, of course, you got the big three, Bosh and Wade. LeBron wanted to win. This is what everybody talks about. Shouts to Two Raw for this. This is what they talk about. So Miami, that's some Miami years. Now, past LeBron out of that, they got tired of him. Departure, 16 to 2019, departure and the return of Wade. Yeah. Now we in the Jimmy Butler era. Now the Jimmy Butler era, can he do it? 2019 and now. See? That's who they are now. Now, can they get a Joel Embiid? Possibly. I've heard certain people say he may be a good fit, and he's looking at Miami. 1988 to 99, they had the same uniforms since 88, about 35 to, I would say, 11 years. They had 11 years span. These type of uniforms, they had the old uniforms, they had them for 11 years. So I was born in 88, but even though 99 was like, I turned 11, that was 11 years. So since then, they've been having, since 99, this is like, okay, 24 years. I believe it's 24 years later, they have the same new style since 99. The 99 uniforms, them uniforms have been around since the 20th century, so 99 and current. They have the Miami Heat has the same uniform since 99. That's about almost 20. Was it 24? Yeah, 24 years ago. 24 years ago. This is 24 years ago, folks. 24 years ago. Yeah, they have rivals with the Bulls and Orlando Magic, Boston, Indiana, of course, Dallas, how they got started. You can look this up. I just wanted to show y'all that this team historically, currently, is a historic team in this century. So, nobody's not, and I'm giving them praise because Miami put up with a lot of shit. Even though they put up a lot with LeBron James and everybody else. And she said, was Miami team good back then? They were decent. They were upstarts. They were decent. In the early years, yeah, they had Glenn Rice and all them guys. Prior to the boy at Glenn Rice, they was terrible at first, but they end up picking up steam and make the playoffs in the 90s. 90s, it was okay, but 95, they turned the corner. They had some pieces like they got rid of Steve Smith and Glenn Rice. They started adding Alonzo Mourning in trades and stuff, and then they got rid of the key pieces and want to be a playoff team. Then they had Dan Marley later on. Dan Marley was a shell of himself when he was with the Suns in 93 with Charles Barkley. And they had Tim Hardaway from Run TMC. And that's when they was on a playoff run. I just mentioned earlier, Miami was not a bad team. They were a solid team then. But after Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway went away, Dwayne Wade was their opposition, and that's when you start seeing championship. The East was wide open then. I say round 03 to somewhere around 07. The rise and fall of Shaq and Wade was something. But when Shaq left after that, Shaq wasn't the same player once again. And then Kobe still dominated those years. I'll say from 09 and 2010. See, that span around that year, 06 from 2010, it was a mixture of Shaq had one, Kobe had two. Now, Tim Duncan was dominating too in the West. He got one in 07. He got one championship out of that. But the 2000s, I have to give Tim Duncan 2003. He already got a championship in the tail end where Michael was already retired in 99. So Duncan was like 3 championships in. He was like 3 to 4 championships. He was 3 championships in. And then when he got one in 07, swept LeBron. That's 4 championships. Now his 5th championship is not surprised. In the 2010 era was rough. LeBron, when he went down to Miami, thanks to Paul Pierce, breaks down that he sent him to Miami, which he did. That's facts. And he wanted to win somewhere else. That's a shame that he didn't stay in Cleveland that year. And that's when they start burning his jersey. I'll never forget that. Around that year, I was living in Atlanta at the time when it happened, even though I moved to my I moved away from my home state in 2007, but I was 22 when that happened. I was 22 years old when they burned another player's jersey. I never seen a history in pro sports that fans burning a man's jersey like that. When I saw that, 2010 was a hell of a year. I was 22 at the time. I believe LeBron was like 25, 26 at the time. I believe he was older than that because he's born in 84. He's about 25, 26, something like that. I have to check, but that's a hell of a year. That's a hell of a year. And then when he went to Miami, he kept saying not seven, and he kept counting. He said not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six. He said not seven. I said this nigga crazy. But he gave him 2 championships. He choked in 2011 like he did in his first finals. He was just glad to be there. Man, he got his ass spanked and got swept for the first time. He was a young man then. But that second finals really hurt him, and he had to make some adjustments, and he figured it out. He finally won one, and then, yes, he won back-to-back, but he could never three-peat. Oh, they tried. Let me tell you something. They tried to three-peat on them Spurs. No, them Spurs was cold now. I don't think they didn't have Ray Allen. No. That was the difference right there. 2014 was something else, and that's when he wanted to go back to Cleveland. That BS. When he went back to Cleveland, he did have a super team in 2015. Did LeBron have a super team? Yes. Did they win though? No. If they would have won that, yes, that super team would have stayed intact. If they had Shawn Marion, by the way. If Shawn Marion was not playing, that team lost. Now they try to say, was the Cavs a super team in 2016? Technically, they're not a super team. No, most people say they were. They were in the previous year. But the next year, no. When they lost Shawn Marion and all them players, they are not. They don't have multiple All-Stars. Now they probably have first team All NBAers, but I wouldn't call that a super team. A super team, you got to at least have like 4 to more All-Stars, or at least 1 6-man of the year. Now J.R. Smith is excepted. He probably got 6-man of the year. Like you could say that they're slightly a super team 2016, but they really wasn't a super team. They was just a regular Big Three team, and that shit didn't work. But they won the championship. They was 26. They were the defending champs. They was the favorite to win it next year. And they lost to a real super team that dominated and went back to back. Kevin Durant did the most unthinkable history in the NBA because I felt like what KD did, it was foul. I understand why he did that move. I didn't like how he did it. But he will be remembered doing the most unthinkable thing to join his little buddies that he used to be cool with the Olympics, Steph and them, right? Lop said that tarnished your legacy. Technically, it didn't tarnish legacy. He made a legacy out of it. Now you got players that want to do that now. He started the modernized jump with your team with your friends. Now, LeBron did it first. Yes, he's the king of that. He did start it. But KD enhanced it and learned from LeBron. And that's why this era is so finesse. So, yeah, the NBA has gotten trashier and trashier, blaming 2 people. And LeBron, shouts out to Uncommon Sense, said this. He said, LeBron never dominated in any era. He didn't. A lot of people try to say he did, but he never dominated this era because you got another player, like he said, Steph Curry, has the same amount of championships you do, but never three-peated. See, if you don't three-peat in 3 different years, like Michael, the second three-peat. Now, the only person I think that did that was it Bill Russell? It was some other players. I forget. It's certain teams that say that. But yeah, every team in the player, the history done three-peated. I think Kobe did. Excuse me, Kobe did. He three-peated right behind Michael. It was him. And I think Bill Russell's teams that did it. I don't think Magic did. Now, Magic went back to back. Yeah. But they never three-peated. No. Who else three-peated besides Kobe and Michael and Bill Russell? There's a lot of teams that three-peated. Yeah, it's a mess. But that just goes to show you where we at. You know, but people always want to bring up LeBron's stats. So like no, I know the talking points. Everybody knows the talking points. But LeBron, Never three-peats. Shouts to the Basketball Facts 2.0. He breaks it down, and LeBron is LeBron. He'll never be that. Never be that guy. Never. I don't know how much he tries, he'll never be Jordan. Never. Because Jordan's more relevant in the shoes and everything else. He's got great endorsements, similar to what you see now. Now, Tom Brady does not want to be in the booth. He want to be like Jordan, having all these businesses. Now, LeBron's too busy worrying about Saudi Arabia, getting money for them. And my father said, that's blood money. Yeah, it is blood money. It's always been blood money. Saudi Arabia cannot be trusted. But it just goes to show you where we at now. But in sports, people dictate LeBron's future and all that stuff. But once he retires, they're gonna air his shit out. I just have a feeling. But but LeBron didn't have to deal with any scrutiny. That's true. But Jordan dealt with a lot of scrutiny with the gambling. I'm so sick of that. Yeah, he just have he may have. I don't think he has a problem with gambling. He has a problem with competition. He's just a competitor, not competition. Did he say? I believe it was competition. I believe it was competition. And he said that he's just a competitor. He competes so much. That's what makes Michael unique. But what I think of what we see now, people in LDBC talking about the LeBron fans are just terrible. Anytime you have a LeBron's picture up, they will always attack you. It's just so crazy. And that shows you how delusional, idolatrous these fanatics are. That's why I don't fuck with them on YouTube. That's why everybody goes to Rumble to air out their grievances, and that's it. But that just goes to show you how weak the fandom is today. I just don't subscribe to he's this and that. Like, no, the dude's overrated. He's the most overrated superstar I've ever seen in my life. Y'all can say that about Bill and everybody else, but no, they got a case. Why they so great? That boy is not great. Claiming he got a case. He don't have a case. But anyways, that's just my take on it, And that goes to show you a lot of people got to look at the NBA totally different now. It's change and finesse and uncommon sense. Broke down why LeBron never dominated his own era. He hasn't. If he hasn't three-peated, that's saying something about LeBron's career. He played 20 years not developing his own game. And it's kind of sad that people hold him as the greatest of all time, which he's not. Now, the only reason they're going to do that is because that scoring record. Nobody cares about that damn record. I don't care about it because Kareem should be the greatest of all time. I think me and my dad was talking about it. Yeah, Kareem should be. And I told him the reason he couldn't. I told my dad he was blackballed as a Muslim. Think about it. He went against the system, and a lot of people didn't like Kareem for a long time, but because of that. They didn't like him because of that. And a lot of people try to say that ain't true. It is true. He was a Muslim, and he did other things. He's not talked about because of his past, what he did. He was formerly known as Lou Alcindor. Okay? I know I think he has a Caribbean background, but even though he's from New York, but Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem, played a long time and became Muslim. And that's how I look at it. And they look at him like he's crazy. To this day, when LeBron broke it, only he and the other people start talking about it, but no respect for Kareem's accomplishments, his accolades, what he did. Way ahead of LeBron in championships and other stuff and other categories in defense, right? These all players that I'm mentioning has strong points to be called the greatest of all time. Y'all looking at Michael Jordan, and I understand why. Because media taught you that Jordan was the man. He's relevant in the 90s. To stick to that, I ain't gonna say he's the greatest of all time I've ever seen. No, I still say Wilt Chamberlain with his records, his stats, his team play later on, and then he got 2 championships, but he's a great player. I still have him over Mike, period. Mike is recent. He's modern. I was a kid watching him, and he's more relevant after he dies. He's legendary. So yeah, man, y'all gotta look at the big picture. And you youngins that are listening to this on the playback, whatever, y'all gotta understand. Back then, it was a lot different back then. And John Stark said Draymond wouldn't last. They'll put hands on him, but in reality, they'll test you. I like what he said. Shouts out to Raw for saying that. They would test that man. They're gonna test that man to the fullest. None of these players will last in the 90s. The 90s was a real competition. It's just great. But if you live in the golden age of basketball, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of great players that play this game and understand what's really going on. I gotta say it. It's crazy at this point. But people just want to refute what facts are. But then again, let's talk about the no light doctrine, or should we say polite? And a lot of people thought he was going to get 10 years. No, that man got 7 years. Man's about to get out. I ain't mess with him like that, but dude is about to get out. But what we can say right now is people are into it. But at this point in moment of time, I'm just looking at it like, look, Polite did what he did. A lot of people said that man got 7 years. Yeah, it's a few people talking about it. And I just want to say something. That man got what he got. A lot of people think he's gonna get life. He ain't getting life. That dude's a finesse. He need to do more time than that. But they're gonna protect the pedophile, man. They're gonna protect the predator. That's people in general. I'm not saying that's wrong or anything. If y'all defend a guy that's a loser and a scammer, I'll take it back. There's something wrong defending a pedophile. I just saw a channel. What's her name? Her name is Elisa Jordana. She's being charged in defending one, and I say, yeah, pedo. And she got mad when that stuff came out on her. She has to understand certain societies ain't going for it, but only derelict America does. That's the problem. I think that's just crazy, man. But that just goes to show you where we at today. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. But that's just goes to show you where we at today. But it's just like you got guys like him. It's over for him, but he's getting less time, man. And they say he took a plea deal. He trying to stay out of prison. But that's just goes to show you. And then I'm talking about so-called white people too. When I meant, but what's her name? Elisa Jordana. I saw it from the Trip Kicks video, and I said, man, this guy, he be trolling them hard, but he's dropping facts. What's going on in these dirty communities what you see online? But these places is crazy. Yeah, they always do. Yeah, that shit is wild, man. But Polite's no different, man. But this is going to continue, man. Like they didn't really solve nothing. I know y'all are doing content about pedos, man. Y'all just very careful because you know YouTube's going to protect them regardless. Just be careful out here. You know, EDP is a whole nother story. What's his name? EDP 445. Yeah, he got clowned by the Gideon. Hodge the Gideon. How you just want to say his name? The Gideon, the big dude, popular YouTuber and the streamer. Try to attack him on a panel, ask him those questions. That dude ran and left. What are you supposed to do? He's going to ran. Got a lot of predators online. But that goes back to the pandemic reset. I talk about this pandemic reset back in 2021. This is what's gonna happen. It's gonna go crazy each year. Like I told y'all, be prepared for automatic shutdowns around the world. They're not gonna shut the internet down. They're just gonna shut down the mediums like these and whatever, and people are gonna go to other spaces. Just be careful. And these companies can get bought up by billionaires like they'll be like Elon Musk, like, but they're not Elon Musk, but they'll be bought like him. You got to be careful who y'all support. That's the whole boundary of that, the embodiment. So yeah, polite, not surprised. He get what he get, and that's it. Now let's go on. Let's talk about battle rap. Battle rap, to me personally, I think I enjoy the Max Out battle rap series from ARP. Salute to him. I'm subscribed to him. And Averb said something about it. That room, that crowd, they enjoyed it. He electrified the promo of the fight. Max Out deserved it, despite them losing 300,000 by some weirdos. That's part of the game. Everybody wants to bootleg. Everybody be bootlegging. The ones defend bootlegging are losers too. We know that. In certain audiences, but we're not gonna mention no names, but it's crazy. And that's how I'm looking at it right now. But if you see what's going on with a lot of things in battle rap has changed a lot. I know the Midwest, they said they taking over. Y'all took over for like at least I would say about 2011 when Verb came and Young Ill came back and battled Big K. Me personally, I think Big K beat him. Even though I like Young Ill, much as I like Ill, but he got beat by Big K. That's why I hear people say he got bodied in there. Hitman Holla did his thing. But what I heard from Ill Will, he said he destroyed that man. I agree. This is kind of like crazy. People want to forget stuff like this all the time. And when I look at it so much, but that's how I'm gonna look at it. But it's crazy where battle rap is going. But battle rap has changed a lot. And I know Smack done fell off. He had his years, and then Two Off of the Streets been doing it forever. He's got because y'all need to look through my channels list and you'll find Two Off of the Streets. Salute to him. And this stuff is keep going. Philly always maintain their poise, even though they have a battle this weekend. They call it the Trenches card. But in reality, there's some great matches I would love to see. I would love to see. And it's just incredible. We get to see it and be privileged by it. Fucking head is swirling. That's why I need some caffeine so I can stay up and just, did a lot today. But anyways, let's see what's going on here. Okay. A lot of people just gonna act crazy, man. But that's all I got on that subject matter. And I believe just battle rap is just it's just what it is. It's gonna maintain. You got the same derelict fans that are brainwashed and worshiping people. That's never going to change unless you have an audience for that. But yeah, these are dope events, and then people are still better right now. That the girl that got kissed, what's her name, Blue something, and she grabbed the man's nuts. She grabbed his junk, we should say, and she did some inappropriate things, and she got caught up. They really into this shit. They really into this shit. Things my ears acting up. Ain't that much going on. Oh, football season's kicked off. Lions risk sparks big reward. Detroit 91-yard touchdown. Stalled. Okay. Lions and the Chiefs. Some people picking the upset. Some people the Chiefs. Defending champs. But yeah, that's just one things to look at and consider. But let's see. Battle rap is kind of like easy. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Yeah, football's on, but yeah, I ain't gonna be on here much long because I know y'all got to get to football. But I'm just gonna talk to y'all for at least like an hour. I'll say about 5 or 6 minutes. I know people are talking, but yeah, football season's on because I know I ain't gonna be on much longer. But yeah, it's pretty cool, because I don't usually do streams earlier because I try to stay away because everybody's gonna take my attention knowing them. But football's on, and I know the football season what it is. We're gonna talk about it more often. So the NFL then kicked off. Everybody thinks their teams is gonna win in the future, right? But y'all gotta understand this. That's the design who's gonna win or not. Now I know Cameron picked um, the Ravens are gonna be a threat to put pressure to win the Super Bowl and others. And it's just like I gotta see the big picture. Then you got they said the Jets because Aaron Rodgers he went to another team. Then you got to win a Super Bowl. Kind of like they said Matthew Stafford. He wasn't supposed to win that. It was supposed to be the Bengals, but what saved him was Aaron Donald with the LA team. I'll never forget that. I think it was 2022. That was a year ago, or 2021 or something like that. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I believe in 2022. Yeah, they beat them. That was a year. They won in 2022. The LA Rams. Not surprised in 2022, and that's when Putin and Ukraine had official that little fight. But they've been going at each other for years. Russia and Ukraine. But that's the big picture of it. It shouts out to everybody from the Lions Den basketball community, LDBC. Yes, this is a whole nother thing. Yeah, football is the thing, and A lot of people just stopping by and just chilling. That's cool. That's cool. I'll be off of this to the next hour, and you're gonna see a difference. But I understand why people just look at things for what they are. But in sports, you already know people gonna ask those questions. But shouts out to Cam. It is what it is. They did one with OJ and Maurice Claret, and I saw him this morning. And damn, he laid out some game. We gotta see it. You see the big tension going on. But yeah, the Chiefs and the Lions, I know they on tonight, but Sunday's about to be a good one. College football's in full swing. That's what you see. But if I had some caffeine, I'll be good right now. But I got my little interface. It's got all the buttons and controls. Yeah, block sound. But Verb said some alarming stuff in battle rap. I'm glad people's on a good page. But that's how I look at it. Football season is what it is. I'll just pause for a minute because I'm kind of drowsy, but I'll wait to the hour mark to hit, and then probably in about 2 to 3 minutes to just talk about what's happening. Yes, yes, Rumble's gonna be a thing for me. I'm gonna try to make some adjustments. If they add some features, I'll post like Friday. If you didn't get the chance to subscribe or the channel or whatever, that's cool. If not, I'm still there if you need me or whatever. I'm not tripping off of that, and I'm not tripping off of it not right now. So I know it's you can subscribe. It's Rumble's free, but you know what I'm saying. But that monetization on Rumble, that's kind of tricky. That's kind of tricky. He said, "What's Diddy hiding?" Oh, I'm gonna listen to this shit. The difficulty mode and all that. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that tab off. It's gonna let it be. Yeah, get my brain waking up again. Caffeine is the only thing I need to wake my ass up. All that other stuff is just, I can't have no distractions. And, everybody's trying to watch the game, but I ain't even care about the Lions and the Chiefs. Nobody watches that shit. But yeah, man, sports world is going crazy. Brick RS. Shouts out to John the analyst. Shakari Richardson. I remember the old boy used to like Shakari. Stewed chicken. That's Saturday. Yeah, the lady got it coming. She been scamming for years. People talk about that brick. I don't care about that. Can't explain away nothing. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. But as you can tell, you can't explain away a lot of things, but a lot of people stripping about everybody thinks Michael Jordan's to go, which he is of the 90s, and people just get caught up. That's the videos I was on, but get my brain working, get drowsy, and then too much feel in my head. And I did a lot today to make you go sleepy. But if I had caffeine myself, I would be up and my brain be like, be in the shock wave. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the stuff I see. I'm just going to go quit the mission for a minute. Yeah, I'm going to quit it for now. Subtitles. Yeah. Yeah, put Fallout on them. Get my brain working. Yeah. I know people just gonna come in and do their thing, but everybody's gonna watch the game, but concurrent viewers, that's okay. But in the NFL is, I know a lot of people on their minds they can't wait to watch football, but it's gonna die down. They're gonna come through. Football is on tonight. I know people ain't gonna watch me as much, but that's okay. They can get the playback and they can see what's going on. Because I always start at 8:15, and that's it. But you see, that's the big moment of it right now. But what I see right now is like everybody watch Sunday football, and all that stuff. But then again, you just look at it and be like, all right, we here. We here. I'm just gonna look at what's going on. Gotta get back on my little grind. Talk to y'all 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll be out of here because it's just looking like because I don't let y'all enjoy the game with Pat Mahomes and all that. 'Cause I bet y'all won't watch the others. Watch now, everybody's into Thursday football. They into Sunday. I told you I don't do Sunday streams no more because when football season comes, you already know. I say talk about basketball season, but I'm not quitting Thursday thrills because of football coming back. That ain't happening. I told you Thursday thrills is every Thursday. Everybody's just tired of the summer. I had it. And that's what happens when you have supporters that support you and then you got other people just turn against you. And that happens. That's the internet. You expect what you can get. I'm not really tripping off what's going on and be like, okay. But you seeing the things that's going on right now, but let's pause for a minute. But that's what you're gonna see for now on. Everybody's talking about polite situation. They're talking about everybody's situation and Cam's doing their thing. Everybody's doing good on podcasting. But the other stuff is just unnecessary, what y'all talk about subject wise. It's still garbage. But see, I understand entertainers when they talk about people that gives them a lot of buzz, right? But when you talk about a bunch of nonsensical derelict shit, especially niggas, they don't know how to do content no more. That shit was cool during the pandemic days. Now y'all doing it and try to do that true crime. Ain't nobody listening to that shit. See, women hold on to shit like that. I mean, so-called women, but we call them females. They just want content that ain't really content about it. We know Dwight was a fraud, but y'all let him. This is what it is, man. See the big picture. Yeah, I'm gonna head on out, but yeah, but it's good to see Queena. Salute to her and Tampa. Salute to y'all for coming through. I know if y'all watching on playback, I appreciate it. But like that's all I gotta say. And then yeah, I talk a little basketball there and there. But I'm just going to get going because I know everybody's going to watch the game, but it's time me to head out. But I will see y'all on the next Thursday Thrills. And this is Thursday Thrills, the 73rd edition. The 74th edition will come, and we're going to talk about something important. But I'll let y'all know. So with that, until next time, shalom to the people, Israel, and the Gentiles, of course. Shalom to y'all. Until next time.